I was recently listening to a new episode of Dear Hank and John, aka my favorite comedy podcast about death. A listener wrote in who happened to be a girl applying for medical school, and she asked Hank and John a question about being empathetic as a physician, and how she was thinking a lot about this as she was applying to medical school. And they both of them, Hank and John Green, have dealt with people in the healthcare profession because they both have chronic illnesses. And so they talked a lot about empathy, and they talked about how it's important that she was asking that question in the first place. And it was kind of like a flashback when I was listening to that dialogue between them discussing her question. Just my own experiences, thinking back to when I was applying and how I used to think about it all the time. And I think that as I've grown the past couple of years since applying as a medical student and as a person, that really need to be empathetic has only amplified inside of me from all different directions and not just from school. I've had I've been extremely thoughtful, as I hope a lot of people have been, with regards to the condition, the political climate in our country at current. And I'm a little bit of a junkie about it, and I feel kind of addicted to it. And sometimes that's a bad thing. But on the other hand, I was thinking about her question about empathizing, how she's going to deal with so many different kinds of patients in her time as a physician. And I started thinking about the political climate, how we've created such an us and them environment, and I think that really blocks it widens our empathy gap. I think it's really important for us to pay attention to the terrible and the stupid and the things that we want to dismiss, and to I think it's important for me personally to keep seeing people dismiss the behavior that I find like ridiculous and that I find harmful to our human goal of making the empathy gap smaller and smaller, because I think that is the most harmful part of what has been going on in this election, is the concept of demonizing people and really riding off of fear and hatred and bigotry. And I can't even get to explain to people why I support the candidate that I support. And I have good reasons for supporting that candidate, and I am very comfortable with those reasons. I am not just picking the lesser of two evils. I truly believe in the candidate that I'm going to vote for, but I can't even get to that because I feel so acutely aware of how many people are excusing behavior that to me seems so obviously brash, and choosing a side that I think to achieve full humanity, we need to work towards creating an environment where everybody can recognize what is wrong, and you don't have to watch talk shows on Comedy Central or listen to other people make fun of it to understand that it's wrong and that it's ridiculous, and that we should be able to be skeptical humans when political rhetoric is thrown around that is actually harmful to people. And and personally harmful to me as a minority and as a female, and in so many ways, and this is not new. By the way, and the front runner who I'm obviously referring to, he's not an anomaly of a person, and I think that's what we have to realize. I think we should never stop being outraged by what he says, and we should never stop calling out his behavior as ridiculous, and voicing that some of the things that many of his supporters say and do are not American values. We need to continue to reiterate that. I don't know where I was going with that. Oh my gosh, what was I saying? Hang on. Don't dismiss these people or him so easily as someone who's just crazy because these people have existed for a long time, and he's not the only one like himself in the world, and there will be continue to be people like him in the world. So we can't say that this is just unacceptable because you're a presidential candidate. It has to be, this is unacceptable, period. And when we can get closer to that point, I think we'll be happier people because we'll be more open to each other. I don't know if I made any sense there, but I haven't made a video blog in a while, so I'm going to go ahead and upload this.